What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? We clear. Make sure everything's okay. I don't know. All right, we're in the house. We're in the house. I want to say what's up to my moderators, Buck Bewley, and the one and only Black Mamba in the building. Thank you. Man, it's good to have you guys back. Yes, settle in, everybody. Settle in. My people, my people, my people, we're back in the building tonight. Yeah. Greetings to the whole crew. The Tim Black Wolfpack in the house. What is going on? What is the goings on? What is the goings on? What is the goings on? We got the notorious Tim Black Wolfpack in the house. I see my man Iron Man Oz in the house. Iron Man Oz in the building one more time. What's up, my brother? Galaxy Ravers is in the house. Chris P. Chris P. Not Crispy. Chris P. That's what's up. Yo. Oh, man. We got DeMarta Williams, the whole crew going through. Thank you, Zen Soulful and the amazing Often Here. You know what I'm saying? Good to see everyone tonight. Elizabeth, Anthony McDowell. Welcome back to the Tim Black Show, man. Glad you guys can make it. Look, man, it's my pleasure to be back today. You know, it's been a rough couple of weeks, man. We're all dealing with life, you know what I'm saying? But we are back today for the news and the updates in the Monday Mayhem show here on the Tim Black Wolfpack show. And we're really, really excited, man. I'm really excited to tell some truth tonight, man, because it's nights like this where a brother like me gets to shine. Yeah, that's how I look at it. I look at it like when I get an opportunity, when everybody else is going left and I can go right, when everybody's going crazy, I can go sane. You know, that's an opportunity for the Tim Black Show to do its thing. You know what I'm saying? And I embrace those moments. Tonight is one of those moments. So, yeah, it is, my friends. It is. Hit the like button now to let the algorithm know that we're cooking tonight. Hit the like button on the algorithm. Tonight's show is brought to you by the Tim Black Mug Club. Tim Black Legacy Mug. Available right here, man. You go to timblackmug.com. Pick up your Politics for the People mug. Because that's the only politics that matters to the people. It's the politics for the people. $20 to your door. Dishwasher, microwave, and head is safe, man. Get it. timblackmug.com. We'll come back to the sponsorships or whatever that is. We'll do that. Tonight's show, man, is we all know what it's about, right? Of course we know what it's about, Tim Black. It's got to be about the World War III that's incoming. You got to talk about World War III. What kind of show would this be if we didn't talk about World War III? Because that's what's happening, right? I mean, that is what's going on, right? Because that is all the mainstream media has been saying. What's going to happen? Is it over? Well, you know what, Johnson? Looks like we got some news for that. Let's jump into it, Johnson.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Ambassador, I've just been alerted to a post from the president. We were discussing his messaging. This is brand new. The caveats are the president of the United States has just posted news of what he's calling a ceasefire. We don't have fact-checking yet or statements yet from other parties. So you're learning this along with our audience. I'm curious your reaction. I'm going to read. This is also a Truth Social post from President Trump. He says it has been fully agreed, again, claims by the president, quote, by and between Israel and Iran, there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours. And then he says that will go on for 12 hours, quote, at which point the war will be considered. And the president, in his style, writes in all caps, ended. Again, reading further from the new statement moments ago, quote, officially Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to what he is calling this 12-day war, which will, the president says, be saluted by the world. And he goes on to include other details. My question to you is, given this is coming from one side, but either quickly will be confirmed or not, that's how we track these stories, what is your response, and what does that sound like to you, given your voluminous diplomacy experience, that time scale as announced here by the president?
Well, I believe it, and I believe it for a simple reason. We saw the Iranians retaliate today at two places, al-Assad base, where they hit before, after Qasem Soleimani was killed, and Al-Udeid base in Qatar. There were no American casualties. It put the Iranians in a position where they could say, we retaliated. One thing Khamenei could not do was look like they simply surrendered to us. So by retaliating, he can claim we retaliated. He can claim we inflicted damage on Israel. So they're in a position where they can say, okay, we stood up, we didn't give in. The Israelis were in a position where their military was saying we were pretty close to exhausting all the targets that we needed to be able to take out. And I think that the president, all along, he never wanted to get into what he calls the forever wars in the Middle East. He took on his own base in this regard, who clearly people like Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon were very much against taking this step. And his wanting to show that he could use force and then produce a ceasefire quickly makes, in my mind, very credible. The fact that Iran took a step and they can say we did it puts them in a position where they can end it. I would also say whether Prime Minister Netanyahu was prepared right now to end it or not, I think he couldn't say no to President Trump on this. And my guess is there's some possibility that this was even coordinated in advance. I could see an understanding where the president said to Bibi, we will do this, but after we do it, the war has to end. I wouldn't
with an off-ramp ready. So let me ask you, Ambassador, if this ceasefire holds, President Trump, just here in these moments, breaking news, has announced, posting online, a ceasefire, Israel, Iran, U.S. If this ceasefire holds, is durable, is this a significant foreign policy win for the Trump administration?
It is, but let's look at it. It is, to be fair, it is. The question will be, how do you translate and turn the ceasefire into something that's enduring? A ceasefire is exactly what it says. You're ceasing fire. Does that mean it can't be resumed? Are there understandings about if Iran begins to try to reconstitute its nuclear program? Are there any understandings there? Is there going to be a negotiation now that basically deals with the future of the Iranian nuclear infrastructure? I mean, the reason that we ended up using force was precisely because the president came to the conclusion that the negotiations that we were conducting with them, which were designed to ensure that there was no enrichment on the Iranian side, he basically came to the conclusion he couldn't achieve that diplomatically. Now, does he believe that's achievable? I suspect that the Iranians will come back. They may make a concession on actually enriching. I think it'll be very hard for them to give up the right of enrichment. I suspect that the face saver for them, just like the face saver of retaliating against Al-Udeid base, was to say we did it. The face saver for them will be something like we retain the right to enrich. It will be interesting to see, is there an understanding on that? The larger question here, though, Ari, is we have a ceasefire, which is very significant. Can you translate the ceasefire into what is an understanding on what the future of the Iranian nuclear infrastructure is going to be, what the future of their ballistic missile program is going to be, and what's the relationship between Iran and its proxy network?
Boom. All right, guys, that's enough promo on the beginning of this so we can kind of take a look at that. And I got to say, some people ain't going to never be happy, man. Nah, they never going to be happy. They're always going to be upset. When I say some people, of course, I'm talking about Democrats, right? Yeah, man, because being happy about the fact that there's a ceasefire, yeah, that would be unpatriotic for a Democrat. Yeah, but Democrats can't pretend like they're actually rooting for America. Not when America's run by a Republican. Don't get it twisted. If America's run by a Democrat, they'd be happy as hell right now. Happier than the pig in slop. But the fact is, there is no way the Democrats would show an inkling of being satisfied. That after they were just saying that the sky was falling. Yeah, the sky was falling. You know? And it was the craziest thing because we all know, like, bailing out Israel is something Democrats are going to do. Trump found a way to do it. No matter what you think of him, he found a way to do it without incurring, bodies on the ground, getting bogged down like in Afghanistan, or whatever. Okay, according to reports, this is where we are. And if this is the guy, and he is the guy because no one else is president, right? What it is. And it's got to burn if you're a Democrat because it's the last thing you want to see. A successful mission. I mean, you know how many people I've been hearing make the claim, well, he said he would never start any wars. Oh, he said he didn't want us to get bogged down in regime change wars. He said this, he said that, knowing damn well that America's been bogged down in regime change wars and all other excursions all this time. I mean, what we've been doing the last 30 years, being bogged down in these wars. And who's been taking us? Republicans and Democrats. Look at the reaction by Erin Burnett of CNN as she finds out in real time what we already know, that there's a ceasefire scheduled in 6, and I guess it's less time than that now. What is it, 5 hours, 4 hours from now? And that's because they're already in operation, like there's already ongoing whatever's happening. Check out Erin Burnett. Check her out. She's, this is special.
Against it, and certainly right now, Aaron, the Iran saying that their retaliation is going to continue, and that their retaliation, if anything, is going to become more intense. Of course, one of the things that we heard is that the Iranians believe that they are in a conflict both with Israel and the United States, feeling that Israel has dragged the United States into a conflict directly with Iran, Aaron.
All right, Fred Pleitgen, thank you so much. Of course, the little eyes and ears on the ground to hear those explosions. I want to go now to Barak Ravid, our political and global affairs analyst. Also joining us, of course, retired General Mark Kimmett, former Assistant Secretary of State. He oversaw policy here in the Middle East. And here with me in the UAE, along the Strait of Hormuz, Paula Huancox, our correspondent, who knows this region better than anyone. Barak, I just want to start with you, though. I know you have some new reporting. What are you learning right now?
Hi, Aaron. What I'm learning is that this ceasefire has been mediated and, according to President Trump, also achieved through mediation of Qatar and the United States, two countries that have been in touch, close touch, before the U.S. entered this war. Or a day before this war started, there were meetings between U.S. and Qatari officials about the possibility of the U.S. joining this war. And those contacts continued all along the last 3 days. And today, when after the Iranian attack on the El Udeid base, Iranian officials sent a message to the White House through the Qataris saying, we're done. This is our response. We're not going to do anything further. The White House sent a message back through the Qataris. We are not, if you're done, we are not going to retaliate, and we want to talk. We want to now get a deal. In the hours since then, there were talks between the U.S. and Israel and Qatar and Iran to tie the final knots and agree on the final conditions of this ceasefire.
Yeah, to me, this looks like, I mean, if you're Israel, you got to go, wow, this is good. Yeah, if you're Israel, this is good. I mean, they were getting their butts kicked in there for a minute by Iran. Then we step in and we put a shutdown on the nuclear arms, whatever, their ability to manufacture the uranium that's needed to create a nuclear arm. And next thing you know, they do a little retaliation. Iran retaliates against the U.S. on a couple bases that are, in Qatar. The other one, I forget where it is. I'm not going to pretend I know the place. Somewhere over there, the Middle East. It's in my notes or something. Here's the thing, though, man. I gotta say, man, Israel kind of lucked out. You got your handy U.S. Army in national whatever defense right at your beck and call, willing to go in and do whatever's necessary. You got Trump looking like a bouquet of roses, smelling like a bouquet of roses after this. I mean, I don't think it can get any worse for the Democratic Party, man. I don't think it can, man. I can't. Yeah, I mean, don't get it twisted. Of course, you're going to have your AOCs. And me, what camp do I fall in? What camp do you fall in? Well, I'm going to speak for myself. For me, I'm in the fall-in camp of I'm just an average black guy from a middle-aged, I'm the average middle-aged black guy from a working-class background who care more about the price of eggs than I care about the bombs that dropped overseas. And would like any type of money that's spent doing that shit directed back over here. That's where I'm at. But I think it's malpractice to have a show that covers news to pretend that what's going on isn't going on. So I'll cover it, but I gotta say, man, like, damn, me being a simple black man from a public school system, and never been outside the country, I gotta say I'm more concerned with domestic issues, as most Americans are. But if I get to just chime in, which we do, I gotta say, I'd rather be on the Trump side right now instead of being somebody going, oh my God, Trump just started World War III. Oh my God, Trump is Hitler. Oh my God. When reality is the Democratic Party, they're programmed to say what they say. I just want to talk to the people that are kind of losing their minds right now. They're losing their minds because they don't know what to think and they're kind of worried. They feel impending doom because they're like, oh my God, we're embroiled. We're knee deep. What's going to happen now? Folks, it don't look like anything else is going to happen. Now, something could happen. It's the unpredictability of war, right? Something could happen. Just doesn't look like it. Yeah, you know what's crazy, folks? No matter where you at, no matter what religion you claim, what set you claim, guess what? Everybody want to live. Yeah, everybody wants to live. Even Iranians want to live. And for the record, I don't feel that what Trump did was an attack on Iran. Even though it's basis in Iran, I don't feel it's the same thing. I mean, it's not like Afghanistan. Okay, we were just knocking down buildings and shit. It's not like what Israel did to Palestine. That's not the same thing. It was strategic strikes at nuclear manufacturing plants under the ground, using bunker buses to go under the ground to get at that. And what we got to listen to all weekend was a bunch of crybaby-ass reporters make it sound like we just got thrust into the middle of creating World War III. And to me, that right there, that is nothing but a bunch of fear-mongering panic that you're trying to spread to normal people that got regular problems going on, man. They don't need to be walking around all day thinking that the world is on the brink. Now, once again, I don't know if the world's on the brink, but it's been on the brink. Anytime anybody's got nuclear warheads, we just don't be walking around thinking about it all the time. But this is where we are. This is what we have. And that's not in defense of Donald Trump. That's in the defense of reality. We are no more safer than we were. Look, tonight, I'm not saying we're safe. But we're as safe as we were 6 months ago, which is as safe as we were 6 years ago, which is as safe as we were in the last decade. That's all I'm telling you. That's it. Not everyone around the globe can say that. So, yeah. Yeah, that's reality.
All right, and obviously
change move. This it had 3 objectives.
all right, and obviously all very significant developments.
Good. Let me go to Marco Rubio because Marco Rubio is going to explain. He's going to explain why Trump did what he did and like why it was the best move in his opinion. Now, once again, well, it's Marco Rubio. He's part of the administration, okay? But I'm not going to be going to too much CNN right now. Listen to them try to scare the shit out of everyone. I'm just not going to do it. But what I will do is listen to what Secretary of State Marco Rubio has to say so we can get a little bit of understanding about the context of what just took place.
So this mission was a very precise mission. It had 3 objectives, 3 nuclear sites. It was not attack on Iran. It was not an attack on the Iranian people. This wasn't a regime change move. This was designed to degrade and or destroy 3 nuclear sites related to their nuclear weaponization ambitions, and that was delivered on yesterday. What happens next will now depend on what Iran chooses to do next. If they choose the path of diplomacy, we're ready. We can do a deal that's good for them, the Iranian people, and good for the world. Yeah. If they
Sounds to me like Marco Rubio and Trump and them kind of kept their word on this. A deal's being done. We allow Iran struck back into the United States, but we're like, okay, cool. Fine. Let's do the deal. It ain't no John McCain crazy shit going on. Bomb, bomb, bomb Iran, making up corny songs. Meanwhile, Democrats praised him and kissed his ass and said he was a great American. As he walked around, we need to bomb Iran, trying to saber rattle and send us to war in the awakening in the twilight of his life. Marco Rubio says, hey, man, this was surgical strikes at intended targets. That's it, and we in and we out. I cover people who were saying, well, Trump's evil, evil, evil for this. Trump betrayed everyone for this. And I had criticism for him too. Don't get it wrong, I had criticism for him too. But I didn't know he was going to go in and be surgical. It's surgical as it gets. Now, don't get it twisted. We really don't know how effective it's been. It's underground, so we can't see it, right? All we can go on is U.S. intelligence. All we can go on are the reports. So take that for a grain of salt. But what I'm saying is, if Trump said if Trump and his intentions were to hit just these sites, that gotta be at least as good as what Biden did, if not 100 times better. It's gotta be at least as good as what Obama would have done. I mean, don't get it twisted, man. I don't believe any president of the United States. One more time, hold on, man. There was no president in the United States history since I've been alive who would have did anything different. Hold on. They may have done something different. They may have done something worse. I'm not saying Trump is a saint. What I'm saying is, I have Obama. If Obama was in office, he'd have did a lot more to have Israel's back. He would have been a lot less restrained. Biden, and let's just say whoever runs Biden, because Biden wasn't making any decisions. That's the way I look at it. Same deal. Let's not even get started on Bush. He said that's the war in Iraq. So there goes to 3 right there. 3 the hard way, right? And then we're back to like Clinton. The bottom line is, no matter what they do, they can't give Trump credit for anything that he does. Because when you've been running for almost 12 years, 10 years at least, 10 years on Trump is evil. And the only thing you got holding your party together, and don't get it twisted, it's a very thin line, like it's barely being held together. I mean, you got Scotch tape, and the Scotch tape got wet. The Democratic Party's been held together by, I don't know, bubble gum, spit, and prayer. The only thing that's the last little stitches that are staying glued together in the Democratic Party is the hate of Trump. Every poll that I've seen, Democrats are selling the Democratic loyalists, the Democratic real supporters of the 2 or 3 that you can find. They're all saying you need to fight harder against Trump. They don't care for what. So we got Democratic lawmakers, even the ones with common sense, going, the only way I can stay in office is to look like I'm resisting Trump. I still don't know how you resist a president when you're out of power. I don't know what you do. I don't know what people expect. They lost power, mainly because of listening to their base of people that say kooky things. Last point, we're going to go back to the tape. This is why politics sucks. I'm not saying Republicans would be great. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it would be a different ball game. If Republicans were out of power and the Democrats win, they would be doing the same thing. The only difference is when Democrats are crying on the sidelines and they don't have any power to do anything, they still got the freaking media to do their business for them. That's the difference. When Obama was in office and Republicans were complaining like hell, because they were, you could barely hear them. Because it was only on Fox. They weren't doing sketches on SNL about it. The late night shows weren't covering it. The damn show wasn't The View or some equivalent during the daytime telling grandmas with purple hair how horrible Obama was, how pathetic Biden was. None of that was going on. That's the difference. Democrats had a media. Not only do you have corporate media, they got independent media. Because half of independent media want to graduate to corporate media, or they're getting paid on the side anyway. So they're going to do the same old talking points in hopes they get to go to corporate media land and be just as big as sellouts as Maddow and Joy Reid and Don Lemon used to be. That's the rub.
Choose another route, then there'll be consequences for that.
Let me follow up on a phrase you just word, weaponization ambitions. Are you saying there that the United States did not see intelligence that the Supreme Leader had ordered weaponization?
That's irrelevant. I see that question being asked in the media. That's an irrelevant question.
No,
they have
but that is
everything
the
they need
key
to build
point
a
in
weapon.
U.S. intelligence assessments. You know that.
No, it's not.
Yes, it was.
No, it's
that
not.
The political decision had not been made.
I know that better than you know that, and I know that that's not the case.
But I'm asking you whether the order was given.
And the people who say that, it doesn't matter if the order was given. They have everything they need to build nuclear weapons. Why would you bury things in a mountain, 300 feet under the ground?
Right.
Why would you bury why do they have 60% enriched uranium? You don't need 60% enriched uranium. The only countries in the world that have uranium at 60% are countries that have nuclear weapons. Because they can quickly make it 90. They have all the elements. They have. Why do they have a space program? Is Iran going to go to the moon? No, they're trying to build an ICBM.
No, but
so
that's a question. That's a question of intent. And you know, in the intelligence assessment, that it was that Iran wanted to be a threshold state and use this leverage. I'm talking about the public March assessment, and that's why I was asking you if you know something more from March.
But that's also an inaccurate representation of it. That's an accurate representation of it. That's not how intelligence is read. That's not how intelligence is used. Here's what the whole world knows. Now, forget about intelligence. What the IAEA knows. They are enriching uranium well beyond anything you need for a civil nuclear program. So why would you enrich uranium at 60%? if you don't intend to one day use it to take it to 90 and build a weapon?
Right.
Why are you developing ICBMs? Why do you have 8,000 short-range missiles and 2,000 to 3,000 long mid-range missiles that you continue to develop? Why do you do all these things? They have everything they need for a nuclear weapon. They have the delivery mechanisms, they have the enrichment capability, they have the highly enriched uranium that is stored.
Yes.
That's all we need to see.
Right. Well,
especially in the hands of a regime that's already involved in terrorism and proxies and all kinds of things around. They are the source of all instability
and no one's
in the Middle
disputing.
East.
No one's disputing that. I'm not doing that here.
You know, now, what you are doing is this. What you are doing is this, man, lady. You are annoying as hell. And let's just keep it real, man. All these Democrats, this is, man, look, I'm tired of them. I'm tired of the Democratic Party. All they do is complain. Here's the deal, man. You live in America. You live here. I live here. My kids live here. Luckily for me, I get to see my grandkids. They're here now. They live here. We all live here. And we got a group of people that root against the people here. Now, I want America to, stop meddling with other countries. I wish that was the case. I don't get what I want. Okay, I don't get what I want. That's what I would rather have. I'd rather have us not meddle in the Middle East. But we don't get what we want. We don't get to make those decisions. There's a lot of things I want we don't get. It's not your birthday. But I could tell you this, things could be a lot worse right now. They could be. We could be Rwanda. We could be the Congo. We could be Palestine. There's a lot worse we could be right now. I know you want a virtual signal. Look, okay, all my virtual signaling progressives and liberals who are so upset right now. I understand, I get it. I got a conscience too. Guess what? Pack your stuff and go. Go over there and live in it. I'm admitting I ain't trying to do that. I ain't about that life. I just wish the Democrats would just admit they like their eggs Benedict and their fucking cottage cheese, their cream cheese on their bagels, and their mocha whatever frappe. They like it. They like complaining safely over here like everybody else. They like sitting over here watching 300 channels of HBO Max, wearing pajamas with the feet in them, while they complain about what America does. Virtual signaling that they really wish they could do more for you. Meanwhile, they're very happy to sit over here in luxury. And yeah, not so luxury accommodations as well. But a place where you can order a pizza at 3 a.m. You can call an Uber and get anywhere. It ain't perfect. It's not perfect. But I'm not going to root against it. I'm not going to root against the fall of the place I live in. It's goofy. I don't understand. And another thing, I don't think it would change a damn thing anyway. But okay, if that's what you want to do, fine. We shouldn't have to listen to you do it all the time. That's all I'm saying. Root for the demise of your country from afar. That's all. Because it gets old. These people have no intentions of moving to those places. It's sort of like the people that complain with me. When I'm talking about what's going on with Black Americans, like we own 10% of the wealth as white Americans, and that means it's bad for us, retirement, home ownership, all those issues I raise. The people that go, "Oh, Tim, that's really sad." Then they go write about life like it's nothing. See, I'm used to you. You do the same thing with Black people. You do it with them. You're doing it with people overseas. You're doing it with people in the Middle East, people in Latin America, and we're tired of you. We're tired of listening to you tell us how bad we have it here. But you're going to stay here and just complain about us. It, that, those, them, us, Trump, ooh, pew. Fine. That is your prerogative. Free speech, right? Okay, well, I like to take my free speech and use it and exercise it by telling you to shut the F up. You sound like this lady complaining about a successful military operation where a bunch of civilians, just the fact a bunch of civilians just didn't get cut in half by American missiles is a good day for me. I don't get to call the shots, but I prefer this outcome. I can say that without giving Trump, like all the credit in the world. It's just how I feel. I'm just being honest. I'm just not afraid of you leaving. I'm tired of liberals complaining. And black Americans who are part of the Democratic elite circle, who also got to do, you sound crazy. You are the worst. You are the worst. And the reason why I say that, the reason why is because you have direct family members who are living in shit. I know you do. I know some of you are the only people in your family that got any money. You know you got bigger problems than what's America doing over there. You know that. But because the price is right, here you are, virtue signaling and losing your damn mind about something you can't control, even when the outcome is better than you would have ever anticipated. This is a better outcome than I saw in Yemen, Somalia, or Afghanistan. You know it and I know it, but you won't say it because you're scumbags. Because you're company men and company women whose very existence, your financial stability depends on you losing your mind every time Trump does anything. So for everybody else, people that are allowed to be real, this is a better outcome than I expected to see. And I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it went this way. I hope it stays this way. The man says, hey, it's a ceasefire. It could uncease. But for right now, it ain't World War III. And to me, that's good news. Because unlike that guy on TikTok that sound like Malcolm X, whatever his name is, I'm not rooting for the downfall of the place that I live in the only country I can call home. And I'm not rooting for that.
And they were censured at the IAEA for that enrichment and for violating their non-proliferation agreements. I was simply asking if we had intelligence that there was an order to weaponize, because you said weaponization ambition.
He had started out in a position which was Iran can have some enrichment, just has to be monitored, things like that. He moved to what was essentially the Israeli position, which was zero enrichment. And he outlined that in the middle of about 2 weeks ago. The second is that he seemed to have lost faith that the Iranians were negotiating in earnest, and he seems to have gotten frustrated, because I think this was not his first option. His first option was a deal with the Iranians, but the maximalist condition he placed was with zero enrichment was one the Iranians didn't seem willing to go to, and I think he thought the Iranians were not negotiating earnestly. So the result is you have this extraordinary move, which almost certainly has destroyed almost all of Iran's enrichment. The question, however, is you still need diplomacy. You still need a political solution, because the Iranians can rebuild. Remember, this is a nation that has been pursuing nuclear energy for 70 years. The programs were first started under the Shah of Iran. They can rebuild. It will take them years. It will be difficult. So the best way to make sure that Iran stays non-nuclear would be now to have some kind of agreement. And President Trump seems to understand that, because the only part of that Truth Social post that's in all caps is, "Now is the time for peace." So he clearly still wants to make a deal. The Iranians don't have a lot of options, but that doesn't mean they will be ready or willing to very quickly make a deal. This is a very stubborn.
The White House said that Trump was.
Shit. I hate to do this to you, but we got to go to The View. And that's mainly because this guy from ABC is about to shut him down. So let's check that out.
I'm happy to have you here, believe me. So on Thursday, the White House said that Trump was going to make a decision on Iran within the next 2 weeks. That's what he said. Remember that? Okay. All right. He was going to give diplomatic negotiations more time to play out. And then, less than 48 hours later, this attack was underway. So what changed? And what was he actually trying to accomplish here?
I mean, look, the 2 weeks measure was clearly a bit of a head fake. I mean, not entirely. I wouldn't say the decision was finally made. All indications are he didn't actually make the decision to so-called pull the trigger until Saturday, you know, and then the attack commenced. But obviously, all the wheels were already in motion. In fact, the wheels were in motion a full week beforehand. Shortly after the Israelis made their attack the previous Friday, the president saw it as a sweeping success. I mean, he was very excited about it. I spoke to him that morning, and he said, "This is excellent." He was no longer saying the Americans weren't involved. He was taking credit for American weaponry being part of it. He was clearly ready to go, but there was a last-minute push for some kind of a diplomatic resolution. He really wanted that moment. I mean, I think he thought he could have a Kim Jong-un moment with the supreme leader of Iran and have a big deal right before the bombs were going to drop. The Iranians were not engaging at all, and he made the decision.
This, of course, is splitting both parties. We've touched on yours, Scott, but Sochi. Congressman Josh Gottheimer posted this on X. He says this, quote, "Tonight, the United States took critical and decisive action to protect America. This is not a Democratic or Republican issue. Dealing with the Iranian threat is central to America's national security. The world is safer because of the actions of our brave service members." How widespread do you think the sentiment is going to be? I mean, historically, there's been a lot of support for Israel in the Democratic Party. Absolutely. That has been, you know, quite different since, you know, in recent.
Yeah, I don't want to watch this. Hey, here goes something. I want to put this to I want to see what you think. How many people are upset that we got involved in this? Mainly because they feel that it was all Israel's fault. Yeah, that's it. That's my question. Because that's what I'm really getting, man. I think a number of us are just like, yo, I'm tired of America being like a trained seal. Whenever Israel says jump, we say how high. I think that's what the main like beef is. Because, you know, like everybody's not anti-war. I mean, I'm anti-war. I'm pro-domestic policy that helps the blacks and the poor and the working class. And if you're helping the working class, you are helping black folks. But I got to say black folks because somehow, and when you just say working class, it kind of somehow gets diverted away from black people. I mean, America has a way of doing that. So I got to be very specific when I say black Americans. That's the way I make sure my advocacy, people understand who I'm supporting. Because if I just say working class, the arrow never hits home. But I got people that are complaining about this who, I don't know if they complain about Afghanistan. I don't know if they complain about Sudan, if they complain about Somalia, if they complain about Yemen, if they complain about all the other excursions that America is on. But see, the thing is this. I think a lot of it, and I could be wrong, but I want to find out from you. This ain't a me question, this is a you question. Do you think it has to do with Israel? Because Israel struck Iran first. So I see people been on like a roller coaster, like, oh man, Israel stepped out there and jumped in it with Iran, and now they're getting bombed by Iran. Maybe they'll learn to leave people alone. And then here we come, getting involved, and now who knows what's going to happen. And I understand, I think that some people saw this as us getting dragged into something else once again. And now now Americans are going to feel the blowback. Let me know what you think in the comments, man. Let me know what you think in the chat, because I think that's where a considerable amount. Now I know some of the people that watch the show from the Wolfpack, I already know that you anti-war. But I'm trying to phrase it so we move beyond that. Like I'm looking, I just think it's, yeah, I know if it's war at any cost, you'd be like, we don't need war. We don't need people losing what little bit of time they have on this globe, on this earth, and this existence behind this shit, behind any wars. I agree. But I also think there's another set of people who are easily talked into wars because they ain't got to fight them. And I think even those people didn't want this because they feel Israel started it. The one who smelt it, dealt it. And they should be the ones that clean up their own mess. Let me know if I'm wrong, if I'm right. What's up, people? How y'all doing? Israel hit old people on fire. Israel lit old people on fire in Colorado. Oh, well, damn, dog. I remember that. I remember that guy who did that. Yes. I wouldn't say Israel did that. I'd say that guy did it. But I understand what you're saying. Shatur, they own to pass an anti-Semitism bill. Imagine what they're going to do to get the U.S. in a full-blown war with Iran that they have been planning for 30 years. Interesting take. Elizabeth said, clean up your own mess. See, that's what I'm getting from. That's what I'm thinking. And I want to just, you think it, I say it, because that's what I'm thinking people are thinking. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm thinking. That's what I was thinking. You know, I did a video on it. I reported on it. You know what I'm saying? When this first kicked off last week, I talked about it. But now that we have the ceasefire coming up, you know, I wanted to kind of update it. So I moved past that initial. I moved past the initial idea of, look, Israel, clean up your own mess. I've already gone through the emotional, okay, we're not going to let them clean up their own mess. Here we go again. Trump got involved. Here we go again. And now we're out the other side, and it looks like, well, okay. He shook the table, right? The table got shook, and afterwards, pieces are still standing. That's all I'm saying. Sister said, Trump got lucky this wasn't a victory. I didn't say it was a victory. Who said victory? And I don't know about getting lucky. Did Obama get lucky? Did Biden get lucky? Just asking. I want to see consistency. Did Biden and did Obama get lucky? Just asking. Because we just had a withdrawal to Afghanistan where some people lost their lives. I haven't heard that today. I could be wrong, and it could be coming up because we don't know, but intelligence gets released, and that's why I don't like talking about international politics because you never really know what happened. You don't know. You know what they told you happened, but you can't I don't have boots on the ground, but what I'm saying is these are, what we know is what we know. But it doesn't mean Trump is victorious. He didn't fight shit. I would never use that type of language that Trump is victory. He had a victory. It's just like that's that Democrat versus Republican shit. We don't care about that. I know you're new to the channel, but here on the Tim Black Show, we don't care about Republicans or Democrats. We don't care about Green Party either. Hate to hurt your feelings. Socialists for America. We don't care about any parties. We don't care about that. We care about working class people. That's all we care about. Working class Black Americans. That's what we care about. We don't care about parties at all. So this channel would never cheerlead victory or failure unless it's about us. Understand? I must make sure we're clear. And I appreciate your comment because that gets to clarify where I stand so you know, so everyone who watches understands what this channel is about, because this ain't about is Trump victorious. He ain't fight nobody. This wasn't Charleston White versus one of the Island Boys. This is Trump was at a golf. I don't know what Trump was, but he wasn't there. So anyway. Renee says, I'm worried about sleeper cells. That's the thing about sleeper cells. I remember I heard them say that. You know what I was thinking when they said it? I was thinking it's dirty business. It's dirty business for the Democrats to put that out in their corporate. Remember who's telling you that? Who's talking about sleeper cells? The corporate media. Corporate media is run by the Democratic Party interests. Why was they talking about sleeper cells before this happened? They are sleeper cells, right? Sleeper cells been here the whole damn time, right? It's sort of like a story you could talk about all the time, ain't it? This kind of brings me back to my whole point. That it's all propaganda bullshit because it's been going on this whole time. That's why I say, safer now than you were 6 weeks ago or 6 months ago or 6 years ago. I mean, if you had an open border where millions of people walk through without being checked, now you worried about sleeper cells? I mean, I get it, Renee. I'm not coming down on you. But what I'm saying is, when I complain about the border, people say, you just don't like foreigners. No, I say it's hurtful to Black Americans who don't go to college. We go to college the least. So who you think they're going to compete for jobs with? Just common sense. But I get it. People don't care about us. I understand their logic. They don't care about what happened to Black people. They want their fruits and vegetables cheap, right? But we're no more safer than we were 6 weeks ago. We weren't. That's the whole point. You weren't safe. And when Biden left the border basically unattended for 3.5 years, how you think sleeper cells got in? I'm just saying. The door was open. And now they want to say, you should be afraid because sleeper cells. See, it's all just to try to like I said, the Democrats have no other tool in their toolbox except the hammer. All the other tools have been taken away. Legislation, leadership, public opinion, all that's gone. They got one tool. It's called fear. That's it. That's all they got. And it's going to keep hitting the fear hammer because that's all that's left. Let me see if I can get past the kookiness.
But how far do you think that goes?
So I think that there are a lot of questions as of
right here on set with me, and as I look down to read it, his staff comes in with an iPhone so he can read the Truth Social as it's coming in. And Trey Yingst wraps up his live report. I thank him. I introduce the vice president, and obviously start with what we just heard and saw. And he said he had heard about it, talked about it, hadn't seen the final version, and that's what he was reacting to. Since then, we've learned that Qatar was the intermediary, and that Iran officials are now saying they did, in fact, authorize Qatar to negotiate on their behalf, at least according to Reuters and other wire services, and that the Israelis are going to agree to this in a 6-hour time frame. Now, what happens between now and the 6 hours? I expect a lot of kinetic action inside Iran from the Israelis, but that's what it looks like. And then the details that the president laid out about how it follows over the next 24, 48 hours, we don't know what that picture looks like or whether it leads to negotiations.
Well, what was stunning is that just in the last several hours...
Of course, I told you yesterday I didn't think we were at war and that this represented a de-escalation of the situation. And that's exactly where we are with this flaccid Iranian response. In the words of the great boxer Roberto Duran, no mas, no mas. That's what Iran is saying after Israel has degraded their military capabilities and the president of the United States has taken away their ability to make nuclear weapons. This is capitulation, in my opinion, from Iran today. And it is a complete and total vindication of the Trump strategy, which was to let Israel beat these guys to a pulp. We show up and take away their nukes. Yes, let's have a deal now. I think it'd be great to have a deal with Iran about right now.
Next on deck.
Yeah, you know what? I understand people's, I understand the concern when you got guys talking shit like this. Listen to Scott talk. That's somebody who knows he got good security at his house. But I don't think Iran's coming to the hood. They got to know black people don't really run anything unless they want to go to Van Jones' house. What did Dave Chappelle say? Black people are bad bargaining chips. You know what? You want to hear something funny? Over the last couple of days, I even heard people saying, I wish Kamala was president. Why? She would have did the same thing Trump did, but probably a lot worse. I don't know what these people are thinking, man. It just goes to show you, we got Democrats who vote Democrat who don't know anything about the policies of the Democrats they vote for. Yeah, both major parties are big-time war parties. Big-time war parties. And what there's such big-time war parties. The biggest dig that the corporate Democratic shills have been having the last couple of days is, see, Trump is just like us. That's their biggest dig. And meanwhile, I'm watching Republicans, or I'm watching MAGA, try to defend Trump and say, no, he's not. But that's what's been going on. But Democrats are so delusional, they don't know anything about Kamala, because Kamala didn't have any policies, really. She didn't stand for shit. But Kamala has always said, no matter what it is, she's siding with Israel, or no matter whatever it was. She wouldn't even have to know what the play was. She'd just show up, what do you want us to do, Israel? Just tell us what to do, and we'll do it. We got people that don't know that that's how Kamala's foreign policy was. If you want to call what she had foreign policy. She definitely had no, real, agenda that made any sense. She'd be on both sides on every issue like Hillary Clinton. Okay? But they didn't know anything about Kamala. And they think it's a flex to say, see, that's why I wish we got Kamala in. Why? She would have done worse. She'd have done more to help Israel. more. She wouldn't be bucking Bibi on anything at all. She'd be leading the way. And she'd be trying to keep us tied down in Ukraine, which is where I want us to turn our next issue at. What happened to that? What happened to getting out of the Ukraine shit? What happened to getting out of it all the way over here away from that? But yeah, Israel, the Democrats. Let's not be fooled, man. Let's not be fooled.
With Tim Black.
All right, welcome back. This just coming in here to CNN. The Supreme Court has weighed in on a significant part of the president's immigration and deportation policy. CNN.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I want to. I'm about to hold this till later. I'm gonna have to hold this one till later because it's another topic. Let's jump off of here. Let's get off that. Let's go over here. Check this out.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Well, I think the foreign minister is exactly wrong. We didn't blow up diplomacy. We only took this action, Kristen, when it was clear, as the president said, that the Iranians were tapping us along. I think it's important for the American people to appreciate here that if you go back to March of this year, we had the entire administration engaged in this diplomatic effort. And frankly, in March of this year, we had some optimism. How do we get from there to now? And the answer is we felt very strongly that the Iranians were stonewalling us. They weren't taking this seriously. They were trying to draw this process out as long as possible so that they could rebuild their nuclear weapons program without the threat of American action. We had a limited window in which we could take out this Fordo nuclear facility in particular. The president decided to take it, but we didn't blow up the diplomacy. The diplomacy never was given a real chance by the Iranians. And our hope, Kristen, as the president said repeatedly, is that this maybe can reset here. The Iranians have a choice. They can go down the path of peace, or they can go down the path of this ridiculous brinksmanship of funding terrorism, of trying to build a nuclear weapon, and that's just not something the United States can accept. I want to say something, Kristen, just to the Iranian leadership. Look, they have tried to build a nuclear weapons program. That program is now destroyed. They tried to build a conventional missile program to attack neighbors in the region. That missile program has shown to be a failure. They have funded terrorism aggressively in the region, and now most of their terrorism proxies are destroyed. The Iranians are clearly not very good at war. Perhaps they should follow President Trump's lead and give peace a chance. If they're serious about it, I guarantee you the President of the United States is too.
Next on deck.
Yeah, man. Folks, here's like I said, I'm just a working class black man from a working class background, right? And I'm just here to say that there's other things in America we like to see our money be spent on than wars. And as far as wars are going, if we can avoid a war, that'd be great. And it's okay to say, I would be glad to say, if we avoided a war here, if this is an avoidance of a war, cool. That's it. I don't know what's going to change tomorrow, what's going to happen the next week, or what's going, you know what I'm saying? But based on this, based on what I know at this particular moment, yeah, this probably went as well as we could have hoped for. Or it's all a bunch of lies, and we'll find out at some point, okay? But I'll take this right now. I'll take this for what it is. But I got to say, the people that are Democrats and liberals and progressives who have fell into this broadcast, who formerly were supporters of the Tim Black Show, let me tell you, man, recognize that both parties are run by the military-industrial complex, and typically, right? Wars are how they make their money. Both parties. So anytime we get away without getting bogged down in a war, that's a good day. Because neither you or I control that. We didn't vote for any of the wars that we've been in. Did we? Not a single one of them. Not a single one. I know I didn't, and that didn't stop America from being in them. That's all I'm saying. Most of the time, they don't even get approval through Congress to go to war. They like to say, "Oh, they want to impeach Trump over that." AOC said she wanted to impeach Trump because he didn't get congressional approval before he hit the nuclear silos. I got something for that, man. Hold on, man. This is always fun, Johnson. I found this little meme, and it's almost accurate. It's not accurate, though. It says the times Obama dropped bombs, but didn't declare war, i.e. get, permission through Congress. Libya, 2011, Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, Iraq, and Syria. Yeah. And I don't know, man. Some of these, maybe not AOC, but there are a number of Democrats who were in office during the time when Obama did all this bombing and did not get congressional approval. He used, what is that? Was it the authorized act or whatever that is thing called? Yeah, he used that instead. He used AUMFs to justify airstrikes and drone campaigns targeting terrorists like Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and Al-Shabaab. In 26 alone, the U.S. dropped over 26,000 bombs. Yeah, I very famously said in one of my comedy routines, Obama dropped so many bombs that we ran out of bombs. And they still gave him 2 Nobel Peace Prizes. He dropped 1,337 bombs in Afghanistan. And that's why this list is not accurate, because it doesn't even include Afghanistan. But still, you know what you got, folks? You got liberals today with a straight face saying we need to impeach Donald Trump for not using Congress and not declaring war. Folks, do you realize America hasn't declared war officially since what? World War II? Shit, I don't know. When was the last time we declared war? When was the last time we actually had a declaration of war before we went to war? I want to know that, because I looked it up. I'm just wondering where it is. Because that's kind of important, right? Let's see. Anybody know? When was the last time we declared war before we went to dropping bombs, Johnson? Because that's really the way we're supposed to do it based on our Constitution, right? I don't know. Did we declare war when we went to Korea? I don't know. I'm not sure. Did we declare war when we went to Korea or when we went to Vietnam? I don't think we declared war even when we went to Vietnam, man. I mean, that could be tripping. Let me know, folks. But my whole point is that both parties suck, Johnson, but this is one of the reasons why I can't stand the Democrats. They will right in your face complain about something that they've been doing the whole time. They've been doing this the whole time. They've been not going through Congress. They've been just doing whatever they want to do as president. And all the complaints that you have of Trump are complaints that started with Obama. And none of the people that are complaining were complaining there. And that's what I can't stand. So, yeah. I mean, the whole thing is a charade, a canard. It's bogus. Suspect. Understand what I'm saying? That's what it is. I ran across this clip, guys. I want to finish up my coverage of Iran in World War III with the sentiments of a U.S. soldier, because I think that's going to say it all.
With Tim Black.
Hey, real quick. If you don't wear this uniform and you on social media talking about some, oh my God, we about to go to war. Who is we? Who is we? Because you don't put this uniform. Who is we? I'm about to go to war. You not about to go nowhere. And then stop asking me if it's true. I don't know. I don't know if it's true. You know how I don't know it's true? Because I don't have that type of clearance. So if anybody outside of this uniform is telling you that we're going to war, they don't have the answer, Sway. Because I don't have the answer, Sway. You got people calling me, texting me, sending me prayers, which I appreciate. Don't get me wrong. But Stink, I went to work today regular, like everybody else in the Army. We went to work regular. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. Y'all don't know. The media gonna put some shit out. They're gonna make y'all panic. Y'all gonna fuck around and buy all the toilet tissue like y'all did during COVID. I don't know what that was about. And then everything gonna chill out. Y'all not gonna know nothing for real. I mean, outside of the tweets and the Facebook posts that might go up, but y'all ain't really gonna know too much. I'm not gonna get on here and tell you nothing because I don't know. I don't have the answers. And if I did have the answers, I wouldn't be on this goddamn app telling you. You know what I'm saying? But stop with the we. We not going nowhere. Your ass gonna be home watching. I might be going.
Well, our prayers go out to you, sister. And we hope that you don't have to go. We realize we don't control you having to go, but we hope that you do not have to go. Yeah, she said it pretty plainly. Pretty plainly there. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, they are. And and I understand, Pop. Yeah, and I get it, Olivia. And look, I don't put anything past any people. Okay? I gotta keep my head on a swivel at all times. And I don't put it past any of these people what they're gonna do, you know? But I gotta tell you, as far as it goes for right now, I'll take this. Hopefully the ceasefire holds and we can continue, right? And we can continue. Can I get, I want to go to one other thing. This won't take long, but I want to do this before the night's over, Johnson. It was in my building, and I want to make sure people that came for it actually get this. I got an update today on the Camelo Anthony case. The Camelo Anthony Austin Metcalf case. And I noticed there's been some commotion about it. So let me give an update on this real quick, Johnson. Now, once again, this case got to go to court. We got to look at the evidence. And none of that's happened yet. It's down the road. It's coming. And when it happens, I will be covering it. But what I did see is a number of conservative news sites, if you want to call them news sites, covering what was a closed-door release of some footage of the actual incident that occurred at the track meet where Austin Metcalf lost his life. Now, here's what I know. Several news organizations, Daily Mail and WFAA, which is a local news station, were granted access to a 40-minute recording, a surveillance video. Outlets have reported on the content of the footage. 2 outlets reported on the content of the footage. Everybody else is responding to the 2 outlets that actually saw this footage from a surveillance cam that was across the field. Okay? Everything that's been listed in these news outlets that are all right wing. We're talking Breitbart, we're talking Daily Mail, we're talking other right wing type stations, right? They're giving a false impression about what we're seeing on the tape. And then I saw that they had one liar, ex-cop guy, who I think took money to do this story, make it seem like this was some type of definitive information that was released. Like the surveillance film was definitive. Here's what we know about the tape that was released. Okay? The footage on the distant camera near the press box, across from the bleachers. They say it shows sudden movement under the Memorial High School team tent. They saw students fleeing after something took place, but it's not clearly visible what took place. WFAA noted that neither Metcalf nor Anthony can be identified in the video. So they can't even make out what the things were, what the people were they were seeing, because it's so far back. It's grainy, it's surveillance film. It's not a cell phone, it's not a smartphone, it's not a camera, a movie camera, or digital camera. It is surveillance footage from far away. No one can tell who it is. They can't even say that's Austin Metcalf and that is Camelo Anthony. They can't even tell. They're making assumptions. I think that's them. I think something happened and they see people running. They can't tell from what. Okay, so that's the first. That's really all you need to know. But let me give you a little bit more detail, right? Because here it goes. The news entities like Fox News and Breitbart, have covered the development. They focus on the existence of the footage and they say, hey, this footage may be damaging to Camelo Anthony's story, his defense, because he says he was attacked. But just because the footage, you can't see anything definitively on the footage, doesn't mean he's lying. It also doesn't mean he was telling the truth. It means you can't really make anything out of the footage. You can't tell what was going on in the footage. And this is where the dirtiness, the dirty independent media comes up. We got this one clown, right? This one clown making up and drawing conclusions. That just because the film doesn't say clearly that Camelo Anthony was attacked, that he wasn't attacked. And this means this and this means that. He's drawing conclusions from a piece of footage that neither exonerates nor condemns anybody. And that's all I'm saying. The footage doesn't exonerate or condemn anybody because you can't make out anything on the damn film. But in order to make money and in order to rile up people, that's why I think he got paid. I think someone said, hey, won't you put this out? Because I noticed no one else put out anything on this. So who paid this guy to fabricate a story about some footage that only 2 reporters on the planet saw, that was not released to the general public, that's inconclusive? Who paid this guy? Okay. So anyway, here's the deal, man. Here goes 4 reasons. 4 reasons not to react to the right-wing smear shit. Don't react to the right-wing smear stuff. Here goes 4 reasons not. 4 reasons why you shouldn't react. Number 1 is limited access. Once again, only a few outlets. 2 outlets were given access to this footage. That's 1 reason. Objectivity and bias. News outlets may frame the story to align with their editorial perspectives. We know what their editorial perspectives are. Number 3, incomplete visual evidence. Man, the tape is whack. You can't make out the white guy from the black guy. Come on, man. It's useless. It's a bunch of fuzziness. You can't tell what's going on. As if you could see someone's arms or hands. You can't even tell when the attack took place other than seeing people run. Then you're assuming, oh, they must have ran because of the attack. That's definitely not going to get enough information to feel any kind of way about this or for anybody's case. And number 4, we got ourselves an ongoing investigation. Let this investigation go to court. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure, man, we had a bunch of young people in the stands with smartphones. I'm sure at some point somebody took out a smartphone. You know how young people are. They're going to videotape everything. They're going to record everything. They're going to take a picture. They're going to shoot some video. I got to imagine when this thing goes to trial, we're going to get a lot more footage. When that footage comes out, however it comes out, wherever the story goes, I'm going to cover it. And I'm going to be honest and truthful and real, transparent about whatever happens. Okay? But what I will not do is do what this guy does. This scumbag who put out a fabricated story in order to make a quick buck on YouTube and have sycophants and repeaters regurgitate his nonsense. I won't do that. There's no way to determine what took place. If all you had was that tape, if your case hinges on that tape, your case is shot. That's all I can say, because the tape will not help anybody. It won't convict anybody, nor will it exonerate anyone. It's that bad based on the reports that I read. Okay, so that's it, man. The Camelo Anthony story, the Austin Metcalf story is a sad story. This should have never happened. Cooler heads should have prevailed. Somebody should have stepped in. I do not believe that Camelo went to that place to do what he did. I just don't believe it. I have no evidence that he had a manifesto. There's no evidence released that he was out coming there hoping to hurt someone. I do not believe that. I believe there was an altercation. I don't know to what extent. I do not believe that, but I still believe the outcome should have never happened. I don't believe it was premeditated murder. We'll see. But what we do not need is lying scumbags trying to make a couple of dollars who are going to make up a scenario and lie about what's on the tape when we can't all see the tape. When we report on the tape, when we report on what the validity of a tape is, when we report what the tape shows, we're all going to be able to see the tape. We're all going to be, all of us will be able to be in a position to hit play and watch it for ourselves. Only a scumbag, only a person with no ethics would make claims about a film they didn't see themselves, that the public has not been privy to, and then tell the public what's on the tape and what's not on the tape. I'm telling you, what's on the tape, according to my reports, is unusable footage where you can't even determine who was who. Lord knows you can't see arms and legs movement from the 50-yard line across the way, the opposite side of the field, into the stands across the freaking football field. Or the track, the track field. Okay? All right. So that's your update on the Camelo Anthony story and the Austin Metcalf story. My condolences to the Austin Metcalf family who lost a son. I know what it's like to lose a child. There is no dancing for someone losing a child. That's not what I do here. Anybody intimately acquainted with the loss of a loved one, particularly a child, would understand where I'm coming from. But I've also got deep thoughts for the family of Camelo Anthony, who have had numerous death threats and who say their son was just protecting themselves. I haven't been in that situation, but I gotta imagine that would be horrific as well. Anyway, we'll cover it right here on the Tim Black Show when the tape has been released. And believe me, once again, guys, I believe there's gonna be some footage. And that footage is gonna come out because you got a bunch of people at an event and everybody got cell phones in their pockets. Somebody took video of this situation. All right, that's it. That's all. Let me know what you think in the comment section about the story. Remember, the Tim Black Show is brought to you by you. That's right, guys. You control this. You are the people that fund this show. We're not funded by Democrats or Republicans. That's why I can be as honest as I possibly can without any fear of anything. Ain't nothing they gave me, so there's nothing they can take away from me, baby. All right? That's the beauty of the Tim Black Show. Become a member of the Tim Black Show starting only $5 a month. Go to jointimblack.com. Join today. Be a part of it. You can also join on YouTube. I'm on Patreon. It's Tim Steak Live. Or just type in jointimblack.com. That is all I got, folks. Let me know what you think in the comments, fam. And, wow. Facts. Matt Green in the building. What you doing, fam? You guys are the most honest media in the U.S. I try to be Alonzo Johnson. AJ, I try to be, man. It is. How can I say this, man? Why not? You know, if you lie to your people, if you lie to the people, I gotta imagine it eventually comes back to bite you. It comes back to bite you in the ass. And I don't know, man. What they say, if you tell the truth, you ain't gotta have a good memory. Just always tell the truth. And then if you make a mistake, it's not a lie, it's a mistake. And you could be wrong, but you ain't gotta lie. You don't have to fabricate. You don't have to play for the Democrats or the Republicans or the conservatives or the liberals. You know what I'm saying? And as Buck would say, I want everybody to win, Tim. I want everybody to win too. Justice. All right, fam. Thank you, Horn Buckle. I appreciate you. Thanks, Tito. I appreciate you, fam. And that's all I got, man. Look, I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Thank you for bearing with us. We we going through it over here, but we okay. I want to thank everybody who tuned into the show tonight. Hit the like button on your way out, folks. Let the algorithm know the Tim Black Show is worth watching. Maybe they'll share it with some more people. We can grow and wake people up and keep people from being afraid of corporate media. Corporate media is trying to scare everybody to death. Today was a good day. I didn't say it's perfect, right? But it's good to know we can get one ceasefire. We need some more ceasefires. Don't get it twisted. We need ceasefires a lot more places. We need more ceasefires. All right, I'm done. All right, Gary. Be strong, Gary. I'll see you soon, my brother. Black Mamba in the house. That's it. All right, fam. And with that, remember, guys, I'll see you back. We'll be back. What's it? Today's Monday, not Tuesday. We'll be back Wednesday. Right? I don't know. What day is... Shit, I don't know. What day am I off? I'm off on Tuesdays. Yeah, we'll be back Wednesday. The fact that I'm so used to having a show on Sunday, I feel like today's Sunday. Today is Monday. We'll be back Wednesday with more Tim Black Show. Be here, be square, family. Remember, don't let anybody take your cornbread. Don't do it. Keep your cornbread, fam. These scumbags will take your cornbread. If you give them your cornbread, next thing they're gonna want your meatloaf. They're gonna want your smothered chicken turkey wings. They're gonna want everything. Don't do it. Don't let them take your cornbread, fam. And as always, where are my ladies at? Where are my ladies? Oh, there they go. Wolfpack.